Dude, I told you I don't want to put on the costume.
Dude, come on. It's literally the culture.
Dude, it's just really, really hot today. Like, California's like really hot right now.
Yeah, and I slayboy in this room steaming all day, so you can wear this damn costume for 5 minutes.
Oh my god, it's gonna be way more. My takes take more than 5 minutes, man.
I mean, that's true, but they don't know that.
It's just so hot. Okay.
Hold on, can you look up for a second? Look at the camera, like dead eye. Perfect! Look at you!
Okay. Alright. We can do this. Do you like being tased? Do you like tasing others? Well, stop that. Seek help. Or better yet, you should play Carrot, the new green leader for this set, OP08 Two Legends. And if you'd like to learn how to play her for real, here's everything you need to know. Let's hop right into the leader. Carrot is a green 5k power, 5 life leader that has an activate main ability once per turn. If you have a character with the Minks type in play, rest up to one of your opponent's cost 5 or less characters. So, aside from Lola Bunny being a formative character in your developmental years, there are tons of great reasons to play Carrot, specifically in the way of a fun green identity that will frustrate your opponents while you hop circles around them. If I had to pause and give this leader a playstyle, it would be a mid-range stall control deck. We're going to focus on using two of green's best identifying mechanics, resting and freezing. Carrot has a built-in proactive way to rest characters in the way of her leader abilities, while freezing rested characters with other on-play abilities, really preventing your opponent from getting some early attacks so you can build to larger, stronger green characters, or giving yourself the option to start chipping away at your opponent's hand by needing to defend their board, throwing their counters away on cards that won't even be ready for the next turn. Now that we've identified ways to furiously harass our opponent, shall we get into card selection? Yes, please. I personally think that there is one way to build this deck that really highlights your overall strategy. This being Minks plus Don Quixote Pirates. There could also be a secret cool other way to build this deck, and I'd love to read your deck list in the comments below. But for now, some mandatory Mink cards I believe you need to first consider would be Inuarashi from OP02 and Shishilian from OP02. Both of these are pretty early cards, but they're really good. Inuarashi being a 3-cost, 4k power, 1k counter that reads, if all your Dawn cards are rested, this character cannot leave the field due to your opponent's effects. Playing him early really helps to keep a 5-cost or under Mink on the field to maintain our leader ability, and really make certain we won't have our leader ability turned off for a while. Shishilian from OP02 is a 2-cost, 3k power character with 1k counter that has an on-play effect, pay 2 Dawn, set up to one of your Mink tribe characters with a cost of 5 or less as active. We'll be sure to go over this card in conjunction with another card later. Now, time for our new Minks. Wanda is our new 1-cost, 2k power, 1k counter searcher that allows us to search top 5 cards for a Mink card other than herself. She's also great to have on board early to make sure that our leader ability is online. Inuarashi is back in OP08 as a 5-cost, 6k power, 1k counter that has the non-play ability. If your leader has the Minks type, up to 2 of your opponent's rested cost 5 or lower characters cannot be set active during their next refresh phase. This is really great in combination with our leader effect, especially when our opponent has swung already and we have more bodies to rest. And of course, Carrot, our new 5-cost, 6k power, 1k counter character who has an on-play, and when attacking, up to one of your opponent's rested cost 7 or less characters do not become active during its owner's next refresh phase. Talk about a hairy situation to stick your opponents in, right? I'd also like to mention Electrical Luna, perhaps one of the premier green events to date. For 3 Dawn during the main phase, all opponents' rested characters with a cost of 7 or less won't be active during your opponent's next refresh phase. Yeah, not 2 characters, not 3, all. It's really awesome. And for some top-end options and mid-range tempo options, we of course have Jewelry Bonnie from OP07, Hody Jones from OP06, Don Quixote Rocinante, and Don Quixote Doflamingo. I did mention Doflamingo would be part of our sub-package in this deck, right? The reasons for that are simple. Doflamingo does a really good job of making sure the board remains locked and frozen, further frustrating our opponents as we continue to chain down Doffy after Doffy. So now that we've gone over some important cards, Let's see what we can do with them. The first thing to note is that everything we're running, save for Doflamingo, Electrical Luna, and Carrot, can only freeze a 5-cost or lower, meaning a lot of what we're trying to do is control the early game board by consistently slamming down some mid-range threats to freeze and lock the board. We can then also begin pressuring opponents' life while maintaining a total board lockdown. So a lot of our combos will be in service of that. That is also worth mentioning. A lot of these cards will be 2-card combos or will require setup for your opponent swinging into you. Leader Carrot, provided there is already a Mink on board, will be able to rest an opponent's 5-cost or lower. Then we may play a 5-cost Carrot, whose on-play allows us to freeze that character. The turn after she is played, we'll be able to use our leader ability again, attack either leader or board, then play Shishilian for 2-cost, paying the 2 for his effect to restand Carrot, allowing her to freeze another rested character on board. We get 2 freezes for the price of 4 Dawn, which is pretty neat. For 10 whole Dawn, provided we have a Mink on board, we could utilize our leader ability to rest a 5-cost or lower. Then we could play Hody Jones, whose on-play effect allows us to rest up to a total of 2 of your opponent's characters or Dawn. Then put the top of your life cards into your hand, potentially resting up to 3 characters. We could then play Electrical Luna to freeze our opponent's entire board, which allows us to chip away at our opponent's life, as their characters won't be able to crack back onto our board until the next turn. At which point, we could start chaining in 10-cost Doflamingos or start backswinging into their still rested board. Some things to be wary of when piloting this deck. It may seem tempting to start resting your opponent's board and then begin swinging into it, and although that's a viable strategy, I would say that's the kind of trap of this deck when given to newer pilots. There's a time to swing into their board, to chip out their hand count, and there's a time to realize that your ability to not worry about your opponent's board and count on the fact that you could freeze a rested board and keep it frozen for 2 to 3 turns is enough to really put the pressure on your opponent while also keeping you healthy. But how am I going to stay healthy, you might ask? Well, the less characters your opponent has to swing with, the less shots they can take at your life, which is absolutely the name of the game. Another thing to be wary of is once your opponent starts developing very large bodies, your leader ability and mid-range freeze cards won't be able to save you. So you really have to apply that pressure early. Introducing Fortress Green cards like Useless Kid are just too inefficient for what we're trying to do. You won't need a wall if they can't even get back up. Just try to make it impossible for them to even hit you. Some of your least favorable matchups are going to be decks that want to go into an endgame where they produce large Dawn value targets. Leaders like Purple Luffy, Black Luffy, Katakuri, and Pudding will be a nightmare matchup for you, with Kalgara being a slight other non-favorable matchup. Lucci is also a terrible matchup, as his ability to remove your carrots or other 5-cost characters is just unparalleled, especially since you need a Mink to stay on board as a battery for your leader ability. Some favored matchups? Early aggressive decks are yours to control. Zoro, Gecko Moria to an extent, maybe Vegapunk, and oddly enough BY Luffy feel pretty good. There are a lot of possibly good unexpected matchups, fortunately, so if you're looking for a place to start with your deck, here's a list that won a Japanese flagship. And before I forget, thank you to our members who had early access to this video. I'll also be hosting a members only gameplay stream for this deck the day this video goes public. So if you'd like to access that or all of our other content up to 2 weeks earlier, consider supporting the channel by becoming a member. But let me know in the comments what tech you're looking to run with Carrot. And if you're looking for more OP08 leader guides or just more fun One Piece content, check out the channel and subscribe. Please get me out of the suit. I'm for real dying in here. It is awful.
Dude, it was for the culture.
Oh my God, yeah, it was for the culture. Look at how sweaty I am, Mike.
Yeah, but April loves you sweaty, so just chill out.